everyone, and welcome back to War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. We're here on November 19, 1943. Yeah, that's kind of a pain and a frustration. I figured, and I have this is how I've been operating with these landing craft. I figure they pull up to the beach, you just drive the tank on them, and then you leave. But apparently that's not how it works with these landing LSTs. Well, maybe we'll sink this E-boat, and it's going down. One less ASW escort patrol. Oh, nice. How? I swear we have way more duds and misses on tankers, like as a percentage ratio, than any other ship. Well, maybe not the quicker, nimble escorts, but still, other than that, we just have way too many duds on tankers. It's ridiculous. And it's supposed to be 10% or less now, so I'm not sure why our dud rate is so high still. I mean, maybe the official dud rate isn't high, but the dice are rolling as if it is. All right, the Sion flak is doing work. Well, our bombers did not do anything of significance on Port Blair, so that's kind of a bummer. I didn't think to look at the weather over it, because maybe it was like, if it was severe storms or something, it could explain it, but look at our PBYs, they're way up into the middle of the Philippines. So that's going to be very handy and useful, hopefully for our subs anyway. And then maybe occasionally our PBYs themselves can drop down and hit one or two boats. That's the one we were supposed to sink before, but this time we get the torpedo without it being a dud. It is carrying fuel, so I would appreciate this sinking. Now, the thing that would be frustrating here is if there's more tankers and we could have gotten two here, but I think it was the Hidaka Maru that we four torpedoes. Okay. Good job. We like it. attack on us. Okay, he shouldn't accomplish much here because we're in like double terrain or something, so 1 to 3 here. And we can always bomb him and affect his ability to try this again. We take minimal casualties, so that was successful. Experience is bad, but otherwise we had all the bonuses. I don't blame him for trying this though. 0 vehicles. All right. Very nicely done, gentlemen. You held against a superior foe. And we should be digging in also to make it much harder for him to dislodge us there. And the cool thing about that, the scenario I'm in here, is that he what am I trying to say? He can't dislodge us, and a smaller unit is going to hold up double their weight, so they, unless he retreats out of there and does something else, he's, we're occupying this. Oh, look at that! I could do an attack. I should have done one already, but let's do an attack, and whatever's left we'll just try to destroy. Although he'll probably sneak out of that hex before we can do that. That's unfortunate. I just didn't know. I didn't know he was moving out that fast. But who'd have thunk I could take out, attack that this very turn? Didn't even occur to me that that was viable. Last I knew, he had literally 3,000 AV there, give or take. But anyway. Hello, and we're back on November 20, 1943. And let's see how today goes. I have a couple of things that might happen today. I'm trying to bomb Davao, hopefully catch some aircraft on the ground there. Right here in Mindanao. And I also have an attack. Let's get through this. I have an attack. Ooh, 4 hits. Ooh, S-39. Hopefully they're all glancing blows. We can get out of there okay. Man, it's dangerous to operate right there in the Philippines because it's not, you're not in deep water that you can evade well. So it's risky. It's a risky task. But anyway, I also have an attack in Burma, just north of Molmine. Hopefully, we can nab some of his troops there as he tries to pull out, and maybe hit him pretty hard, destroy some of his units. We'll see how that goes. Because I believe he's trying to withdraw out of there, so it's very likely he'll escape. But let's see how it goes. Because if we can damage a couple of divisions and Sion flag is also busy doing some good work. This is going to be important because it will hopefully slow down these 2 divisions. The problem is it's a pretty good road, so he could easily slip out of there even in combat mode. But I am aware that it's not just flipping to combat mode that slows you down. If you take high fatigue and morale disruption, you're gonna move slower as well. Now here we have a lot of hits there at Balikpapan. I I had sent my bombers here a couple of days ago. They haven't bombed because it's been bad weather. But frankly, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, and I realized this was going off even when I was submitting the turn. I just don't remember like what my goal was on damage. It could be one of the thoughts I had is it could be that it is too damagey supplies. Because you see, without bringing boats down here to bring supplies, we could be affecting his supply situation negatively, such that he has to slip in some supplies if we sink some of his transports. This is a pretty effective hit, but he'll likely repair it no problem. Yeah, here's our develop. I think these are coming from Sarong, but I can't. This is what I was hoping to get, is some of these aircraft on the ground. It's just saying damage, so I'm not sure how effective this raid is going to be. And according to this, it's not visible how damaging that bombing raid was. But I can tell you one thing I've noticed about my opponent is when he starts feeling threatened somewhere, he will withdraw. So it's possible that it's quite possible that he will pull those aircraft back. Wow, our bombers are doing some good work there. See that our account went over to Val, so that'll be we can review that and see how effective our bombing was. Well, that's a shame. No epic sub action. But this army, okay, we'll take it. It's the, I have to go down. 15th Army. So he lost a bunch of support units here. 248, 85 vehicles. That could be motorized support. I'm not sure, because I don't know the TOE for Japanese Army headquarters. But so this will be costly for him, and I believe we'll get some valuable points VP from it. It's a shame we didn't get his divisions, But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of move southeast here and try to get around. He'll probably see that and try to block us. But I think we're gonna try something. I'll have to process and think about it. Monado. That expansion is very important because now we can very successfully bring in twin engine bombers there to give us a launching point for some activity we can do in the DEI. Okay, I'm gonna start here in Burma. We'll look at see all this green. Basically, we own this hex now, not just only the northern part. He can still slip northwest into here or west into here. And certainly southwest from this hex. But we are going to close this wall here. And he doesn't have a large force right here. 3 units, but if I took this whole group, and it doesn't literally have to be all of them, we could leave some tanks behind. Um, I'm probably going to try to figure out what we could, for example, let's see, we've got a lot of, we could send in like the Chinese corps or something into here and leave some British units here. Um, well, let's do this. This is wooded, so it's times 2 defense. So if he moves northeast, but look at this pip, it looks like he's also moving some troops east. He's probably going to try to build this up enough to block us from doing much. So what I probably ought to do is destroy what he's got here and then work our way figure out, I don't know. I've got some planning because he's also moving guys from here east to kind of, it looks like he's going to try to form a line. Um, he likes to do that. He likes to put guys off, off road even. I just don't know how. I'll have. Here's the thing. What I could do is keep this bombarded with air and naval units, and and let's see, air and naval units, and keep these troops suppressed. And then if we marched in here, but that's times 2 also, we could run into a brick wall as far as shock attack that might be very costly. So it's possible going southeast is better, and then he has to move over here to block us, or he can threaten to move back in here and hit us while we're exposed. While all of our troops are down here. So I think it is very important to take this hex first, because if we move here and we got this hex, I think we have at least an open supply line. If he somehow kicks us out of here. But if we go here now and he kicks us out of here, we'd have no way of getting any supplies here. We'd have a huge force that would wither, and that would be very bad for us. So, yeah, we've got our game plan. I should be marching into here in, I think it's going to be 3 turns. We will be crossing into here and doing a shock attack on this guy. So I'll have to keep my eye out for that and bomb it. And I think our battalion is going to be another 3 turns also. 2 to 3 turns. I think 3. And then we will want to bomb these guys very soon as well. So probably tomorrow we'll bomb this. to the next day we'll bomb this, and um, 2 days in a row, maybe. Let's see. Today, tomorrow, the next day, maybe we bomb. I'll have to think about that, because there's really no need to bomb these guys down here, as they're kind of trapped. Not trapped. There's nothing I'm going to. If I bomb them, I won't have any follow up that's worth anything. All right, I've done a lot of talking just about Burma, only Burma. So let's take a look at our losses. We've got 6 and he's got 5 aircraft lost this last turn. 2 Topsies for ops, 2 Sallies to flak, Adina. Okay. Now he's looking like he's having a similar luck with his air transports as we are. Let's see, 2 B-24J, that's very costly. A Recon Liberator. Man, all these aircraft are just very expensive. Now the PBY-5 I think we have plenty of, but still, all these are extremely valuable. Very costly losses, and we lost 1 killed pilot. Let's see, we shouldn't have any ships sunk, but let's take a look. Recent sinkings, you can take a look here if you want. Of this whole list on this page alone, there's only 1 US sinking, although it's a very costly loss here. I'm gonna look for the S-39, because we did see that take a hit, and 4 hits, and it's over here. Looks like it's just gonna keep patrolling, so we'll say no. Just go ahead and go back, get some, basically on your way back, get some fuel, whatever, and then and it had a pretty decent patrol. See, it's running low on fuel finally just now. All right. Let's take a look at the map. Okay. Not much to talk about here. I've don't want the risk of repeating, just injuring your ears repeating myself. Majuro is our next target, and we have this fast transport task group running around capturing these dots. So we'll get this Rongal up next, and then Bikini, and then we'll go to Taungi. Okay, and then other than that, and it basically what I'm gonna do after that is consolidate all my divisions, probably here at Ponape, because there's no stacking limit. I'll just maybe I'll split them Ponape and Kusai, because that'll allow us to have double the speed when we're trying to load up any transport for activity. And he is getting guys off of here somehow, but not probably not by transport, maybe air transport. I'm trying to I should probably that's what I should do, is put some P-38s here and just fly cover over truck, so he can't airlift these guys out or airlift supplies in. I'm guessing he's using places like Ulithi or maybe Marianas to do that, and that's probably where his ops losses are coming. So I need to get some P-38s here and fly that cap. Okay. Now moving to the South and Southwest Pacific theaters, um, I'm gonna drive right up the middle here, up the Ga, and hit Dathangas. But I I may or may not go for the Moluccas before I do that. I'm looking at my situation, and it looks like these bases are empty. I think the only thing he's got troops on is Ternate. We bombed this, and we see that he has something here, 3 auxiliary maybe, but he probably will pull them away after this turn. Speaking of, let's review Hungus. Okay. I may or may not bomb that again. We'll see how our... We can just look right now real quick. It might be worth bombing again. He can't rail them out. And so let's bomb it again. Any damaged aircraft will be there on the ground, and we can destroy it. Moving in the only other thing, because I'm pushing up this way, but I've noticed also some empty bases in these all along here. Flores, and then all these miscellaneous islands leading up to Java. So what we're gonna do, and what we already have in motion, is amphibious invasions. No, that's not true. Some I'm moving around some paratroopers because I'm gonna do that. Pull the trigger on with paratroopers first. Um, I do have. I could already do that. Why haven't I? Yeah, I've got 3 air transport squadrons. I probably will scour the countryside for more. See, we've got 4 right there. So I'll find all of our available air transports. I've got some more working on prepping for here because we're gonna take some of these bases, Malukas, with paratroopers, and that way we don't have to threaten or risk, I should say, our ships, our transports with an amphibious invasion, and then he, spots us and flies some Bettys to hit us, that kind of thing. Okay. So that's about it. I've already rambled quite a bit about this area here. So there's not much more to say here. You can kind of I've said a lot in past turns, and um, I think it's pretty obvious what our options are here. Now, I do have 2 task forces. Here's what I've determined. So when this supplies gets to 4,000, which I know is kind of a dangerous level to, I don't want to play around with my supplies here, but I think 4,000 is still gives us plenty of time to work on our options. And that is when we're at 4,000, I'm gonna pull the trigger on getting. I've got 2 task forces here, landing craft and amphibious, with supplies. See, like what, 13,000 supplies. Bringing over here, unloading to give. Now we may not get all of them there. We may lose some on, to the subs. We may or may not be 100% successful, but if we can offload, a few of our ships into this base and give kind of a boon to our troops, that'll allow us to keep the pressure on here and force him to have to keep these troops here. I really want to figure out a way to, if I have to, I'll just completely ignore these by pushing further in, and I could send all 4,000 assault strength around and try to threaten the rear of. So I'm trying to think about what are the repercussions if I do whatever, choose to do whatever. Is that going to cause him? Because again, he can get in the back door, and my assault strength here is only 380. If he brought in all this stuff, because I'm way over here playing around, if he brought all this stuff to Pegu, we would be in trouble. And also, how many troops is he moving from Mole Mine to here? If he split this 70,000 and 70,000, it still would be very tough to crack all that. Which leads me to think maybe it is best to move east and then around, because then we don't have to. That's what it is. I can move east and then down because that's the safest as far as not having to deal with a shock assault across the river. But also, if I move everybody east, the downside is he doesn't have to hold Mole Mine at all and he can move east. And then we're back to square one as far as a stalemate goes. So that's what's a challenge. Anyway, I'll keep playing with my options there. And other than that, China, there wasn't any direct attacks. Our troops have finally passed into the, the kind of the interior here, interior lines, and because the end goal is this road, and then we'll from there we'll send one unit to this road. Well, it looks like one actually didn't make it just yet. Okay. All right. Well, guess that's about it from me for now. Cause again, we're kind of in this weird limbo in China where we just don't have enough supplies to really project. Um, Speaking of trying to build this base up, because I'd love to rail these battered aircraft out and repair them, get them back to their respective squadrons. Anyhow, thanks for joining me, and I hope this was entertaining. I will be back. We'll talk about the 21st next time, and we'll, try to keep pressure in different areas. Maybe pressure in all the areas, or keep him guessing. He may or may not be willing to lose Java. So, in other words, maybe invading Java will not be too much of a distraction because he may be ready to write it off anyway. Um, but if we can capture it, it's look here. We get a few points. He loses some points. We get some points. Batavia, yeah, we get a lot of points, and he loses some points. So the score flips. We could get over here. This isn't worth a lot of points, Palembang, but it's got a lot of oil. So taking like Surabaya gives us a base with which we can just destroy Palembang oil fields and essentially make it pointless to have to fight over. Um, all right, well, yeah, so we're gonna be going after some of these bases, maybe do a little island hopping, and then yeah, eventually we got to get up here as well. Miri, I got to get this built up so I can put some heavies. Okay, so this base is too small still, but we're working on expanding the airfield. Um, but it would be really nice to also destroy these oil fields as well. Yeah, all right, well, I'm basically done rambling at this point. So I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.